Sam on the track. Sam on the track.
Hey, coach. Yes, you. When you walk into practice, do you see your own habits staring back at you on every athlete's face? We'll be right back.
Hey, coach. Yes, you. You feeling burned out? Players not locked in? Parent drama wearing you down? Well, this is the place for you. The Coach's Code podcast, where we help you lead with purpose, protect your peace, and build programs that last. So do me a favor, coach. Subscribe to this channel, hit that bell if you're on YouTube, and share this with another coach who's trying to do it the right way. Your journey just got a whole lot stronger. Welcome to the Coach's Code podcast.
Well, welcome back to another episode here. Before we go any further, let's jump right in today and go ahead and speak our Bound by Purpose declaration. All right, so it's right there on the screen. Read along right with me. I am bound by purpose. I don't need to have it all figured out to be effective. I don't need to be flawless to be faithful. I don't need to be perfect to be honest. I lead others not because I've arrived, but because I've been through the fire and I choose to grow. I will live by the coach's code. I will coach with purpose. I will optimize team dynamics. I will drive success through well being. I will empower through modeling. I am not overwhelmed. I am on assignment. I was built for this. I am still becoming. And even in the becoming, I am enough. I will finish my assignment with joy. I will steward every moment and every life I touch. And when I fail, I will get back up through God's mercy. I am bound by purpose and I will lead like it. Well, so welcome back to the Coach's Code podcast. This is the complete coach edition, where we're going through each chapter. It's to show that empowers coaches, elevates programs, and enriches lives. This week's conversation, your program is a reflection of you, coach. It's for every coach who's ever wondered why culture problems keep resurfacing. Here's a spoiler alert. The mirror may have the answer. Whew, that hits hard. In today's episode, I'm breaking down one pivotal shift: self-reflection first, program correction second. Let's say it again for our pivotal shift for today. Self-reflection first, program correction second. That unlocked deeper trust, faster buy-in, and sustainable success for my teams. It can do the same for you. I'm telling you. So we're going to jump in right here. And of course, what we're in chapter 3 of my book, The Complete Coach, where you can find on Amazon or in the description right here when you get through watching here on YouTube. And what's very, very important here is that we want to make sure that we're sticking to the ground basis of what we're here for. Of course, y'all know I'm promoting the book, but I'm trying to empower coaches to lead without burnout. That's number one. And then after that, we want to make sure that we're helping young people thrive on and off the court or field, okay, and in life. So here's an excerpt that comes out of the book. I'll do a lot of reading. The excerpt comes from page 14 after chapter 3, and it reads, "Success in coaching cannot be confined solely to the school board." Read that again. Success in coaching cannot be confined solely to the scoreboard. Now, let me tell you why. Because the thing about it is that yes, we are all out here trying to win. We want to win championships. Yes. Hey, I'm still coaching 20 years. Matter of fact, I just got a new job. Excited about it. Great situation. The previous coach did an excellent job building there, and I get the chance to walk in and hopefully take it to the next level. And I'm very, very grateful about that. But what's most important right now is that I empower these young men. Like I told y'all, for me, my number one thing is I want to create committed husbands and fathers. That's what I want to do. Men that want to lead families. Like I said, I can't make them get married. I can't make them have kids. But by the time they leave my programs, my biggest thing is if my guys are leading families, then I feel like I've done my job. But just to go a little bit further, when we say success in coaching cannot be confined solely by the scoreboard, you got to be able to look at the players that come out of your program 5, 10, 15 years later and be able to be proud of the people that they've become. Was there something that you said to them that helped impact their life on their decision making? I always like to say this. Kenny Smith, for those that follow basketball on NBA on TNT, which is now sadly over with, he always says this. He said, the difference between good and great is decision making. And what I want to do is make sure that the young men that come out of my program are great decision makers. Now, after 20 years right now, I can tell you, of course, several stories, but there are stories where I'm telling you there are young men that's come out of my program who come from non-traditional families. And what I mean is, not the nuclear family, husband, father, mother, uh, wife, children, 2.5 dogs, whatever. Okay. Who come from different backgrounds, who now as adults, they've chosen to be husbands and they've chosen to lead families. And I want to believe that there are things that were said and done during their time in my program that helped them to want to see how important that is. Because the bottom line is when we get out of school, we're going to be adults for the rest of our lives. And in our adulthood, what kind of people are we going to be? What kind of citizens are we going to be? Hey, for me, what kind of Christian am I going to be? And I have several stories and of young men who are now leading families, and I'm very, very, very proud of this. So I believe that besides the success we've had on the court, I believe that the young men that's come from my programs are winning at the scoreboard in life. And so I want you to really, really take heed to that. And it's not just because of, winning games and different things, but we talked about inputs every day. We talked about habits every day. They'll tell you every day we're doing our drills. Habits, habits, habits. That's just one of my words. And those habits are not just to win the game, but it's to help my young men understand that in their life, they're going to have to pay attention to details in order to succeed financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually, as a husband, as a father, as a career man. Those things you cannot skip over those steps. And so when I run into my players and we, thank God for social media, we can talk to anybody we want to at any time. And when I get a chance to catch up with them sometimes, man, I'm very, very proud of the fact that they're doing and taking the steps necessary. Now, that don't mean everybody's living a perfect life. That's not what it is. But it does say is that they respected what we emphasized in the programs that I coach. And I hope to carry it on to the next job that I'm at right now. So very, 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 very proud of the young men that's come through my program. And I'm very, very glad to share. So here is a principle. Y'all know I have the Coach's Code framework, C.O.D.E, coach with purpose, optimize team dynamics, drive success through well-being, and empower through modeling. Today, we're going to focus on the letter E, okay? Empower through modeling, which is what we're talking about. Your reflection is your program is a reflection of you. No matter what you do or say, coach, I'm sorry. What happens on your team, it's all on you, positive or negative. So we're going to focus on empowering through modeling. So here's something right here just for you to think about a little bit here, okay? The first thing you want to do when you say empower through modeling, come out of chapter 3 of the Complete Coach, is audit what you're really teaching. Okay? Audit what you're really teaching. So let me say this to you. There's a mentor of mine here in Louisiana that's won, several state championships, man, coached at the college level, very well respected all around. And one thing, as a matter of fact, his name is Errol Goff. And he is at Archbishop Hannon down in Hammond, Louisiana now. Well respected coach here. And I got my first butt kicking, my first playoff butt kicking by 49 points in my first year. Thank God he won back-to-back state championships, so it's not as bad. So my first year in the playoffs, and he was a veteran. But one of the things he always says is, it's not what you teach, it's what you emphasize. It's not what you teach, it's what you emphasize. So we can teach things, but what am I making priority on a day-to-day basis? So we're saying that your program is a reflection of you. It's what you emphasize on a day-to-day basis. And if you don't address things, guess what? You're tolerating. So number one, okay, under empower through modeling, audit what you're really teaching. Okay. Page 18 or excerpt says, your program will always reflect what you tolerate, celebrate, and model on and off the court. Your athletes will replicate your habits long before they respond to your speeches. Walk the standard before you talk the standard. Okay? I want y'all to hear that. Walk the standard before you talk the standard. Now, I'm guilty of this in my career where there were things that I was trying to teach, but I had not lived out. I grew up in the church. I learned a lot of cliches and a lot of different things. And there were things I was saying, it was the right stuff, but I didn't see the fruit of that in my life. And so I remember that at that time where I had a breakdown, literally right in the middle of my coaching career, because I was talking and teaching one thing, but living another. And I had to come to a realization, first off, on my relationship with Jesus Christ, that it wasn't what it needed to be. So, but I was in a church, in a place where I was able to have those things addressed. And it was painful. It was. But that's one of the things that number one, if you're going to be able to audit what you're really teaching, you got to have a foundation. You got to have standards that you say that you live by. So remember, I'm going to read that excerpt again, page 18 in chapter 3. Your program will always reflect what you tolerate, celebrate, and model. Okay. Second thing, redefine what success means to you. Okay. On page 17 in chapter 3, it says, true success is built on consistency, clarity, and character, not just championships. Okay. If your values are only visible after wins, your players will only value the scoreboard. Shift to building people, not just resumes. So it's very, very important that you try to handle wins and losses similarly. Okay. Very important. Now, we're hurt, we're frustrated, all those different things after losses. But the things that we want to emphasize on a day-to-day basis, you want to be able to question. One question I would ask my players, and they would hate this, but they understood. I would ask them after a loss, did we do everything that we practiced? Did y'all do everything that we worked on and prepared for? Well, that's what we focus on tomorrow in practice. Going back and making sure that you all we're getting the reps, and then you're understanding the importance of the details it takes for us to play with our identity. Okay. So the success for us, when I said redefine what success means to me, when it came down to coaching specifically games, is I wanted it to look a certain way. I knew that if we had our basic habits on a day-to-day basis, we were going to win more than we lost. Okay. Third thing, number 3 and final thing, expand your scoreboard. Okay. Expand your scoreboard. All right. What does that mean? On page 15 of my book, The Complete Coach, chapter 3, it says, when your only metric is the scoreboard, you risk overlooking the real growth happening in your program. Listen to that again. When your only metric is the scoreboard, you risk overlooking the real growth happening in your program. Example, this year, in my 20th year, I coached at small school here locally. And of course, people know, but I just refrain from saying just for the kids' sake. But people do know. But this year, for the first time in my career, 0-22. Didn't win a game. Had 5 kids. But you know what? This was probably one of the best years of my life. Look, I whined, I complained a little bit. Yes, I did. But by expanding my scoreboard, I looked at my guys made great grades. Nobody got in trouble. Attitudes were well. They bust their behinds to try to do everything that I asked them to do. But of course, you got to have a little more talent, but that's okay. But I'm very, very proud of this 0-22 team. Very. I don't walk away with my head down in shame and, like, oh man, because it wasn't about my personal record. Who cares? It's not about that. Now, we want to win, yes, but I want to make sure that we put emphasis on that I'm very, very proud because these guys played with high character. Okay. You want to celebrate effort, unity, integrity, service on a weekly basis. You want to show your athletes that their character is always being evaluated. For us this year, even in the past with my better teams, more talented teams, we'll call timeouts just to ask, hey, are we playing the way we should be playing? Okay. And we always have pillars that we try to play with. We have things that we emphasize every night and want to look at those things. Are we doing these things? Because it's a peek into their character. Here's the one thing before we move forward. I always say this when we're dealing with players that struggle with playing or doing the things that you prepare for. I say either you're a rebel or you're scared. Which one is it? Because if you show me you can do it in practice, we can't say can't do. So I throw it out. So either you're a rebel or you're afraid. So, coach, I ain't scared. Well, so are you a rebel? It's one or the other. And so when I put those two things up, it makes my guys think. And it's something that stays on their mind about focusing on the inputs, on how we want to play. It's not just get the win, but we want to make sure we have the details and the habits, whether it's a win or loss, it be consistent. Okay. So one more time, those 3 things under empowering through modeling is audit. Number 1, audit what you're really teaching. Okay. Number 2, redefine what success means to you. Number 3, expand your scoreboard. Okay. Now, if you're struggling right now as a coach, start by owning one behavior you want your team to emulate. Just one. You think about it. Something that you want them to see in you. Okay. Change, or something that you don't want them to see in you. I apologize because there are things about ourselves if we do assessment, say, man, I wish I didn't do that. Or I need to stop doing this. I do less of this. And when you identify that thing, change it. Guess what? Make an announcement. And then allow your players to hold you accountable. I mean, think about it. Allow your players, give them that power on one thing. Something you say, you know what, guys, I'm wrong for this. I've apologized several times to my teams about things because we're not perfect, but we are the leader. We're the decision maker. And sometimes that I believed in something I thought would work and it didn't work out the way we thought it should, and I would apologize. And, and it's one of those things that, we had opportunities to talk and we made it fun. My guys, I would let them remind me of things I said. Coach, you said you was going to do this. You said you was going to do that. You know what I'm saying? So just want to make sure we have that in the forefront of us because remember, your program is a reflection of you. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Hey, Coach. Yes, you. I know you've got a lot on your plate. Practice plans, scouting, keeping your players motivated, and still trying to show up strong at home. That's why I created the Complete Coach book and the Strategies in Action workbook. These 2 resources are built from the trenches for coaches who want to lead without burning out, who want to build culture and accountability that sticks. Inside, you'll find proven tools for setting a clear vision, balancing life and leadership, and getting your athletes to buy in. So, if you've been looking for a playbook that's bigger than basketball, football, baseball, or whatever team sport you coach at any level, this is it. Grab your copies today at eddiejhamilton.com/complete-coach or click the link in the description. Now, let's continue this episode.
All right. So as we get ready to close here, we want to definitely focus on, what are we trying to reframe? What is our transformation? What is the shift that we want to make? And on page 19, inside of chapter 3, here's another excerpt. And it says, the greatest programs aren't just chasing trophies. They're building people who can carry the weight of success with humility. Okay, let's read that again. The greatest programs aren't just chasing trophies. They're building people who can carry the weight of success with humility. One of the things that I know is very, very important, we have an opportunity that in your winning program, you want to be noted for being humble in your winning. Okay. Be confident now, but you want to be humble when you're winning. And that's one of the things that you want to make sure. So part of the transformation for me was I stopped measuring the wins and started measuring alignment. Okay. What y'all think about that? Alignment with what? With my values. Okay. If anybody here, have ever seen me coach before, I don't like blowout games on either side, getting blown out or blowing somebody out. I actually coach harder in games that were up big. And the reason why is because it's easy for our young people to get caught up and just, play the game and not focus on the habits that we want to make sure that we're developing when we play harder games, championship level programs. Okay. Because remember, we're coaching and we are still trying to win here now at a high level. So, but my biggest focus there are wins that I've gotten. We'll take the win, but there are wins that I've gotten that I didn't like the way we played. And I found myself frustrated. My wife would tell you, boy, I just come home mad. We done won the game, but I know that, hey, we beat this team and, we made these mistakes looking at these numbers, but we won't be able to beat the higher quality programs. You know what I'm saying? So, but I want you to recognize this. I stopped measuring wins and started measuring alignment. Okay. I focused on consistency in my actions. Okay. Still didn't get it right all the time, but it was a place of focus because I allowed my players to hold me accountable as well. Wanted to make sure doing things like showing up early, speaking with care, holding the line, making sure that when I am conversing with my players, it is something that, yeah, we're going to fuss sometimes, but we also want to make sure we're picking them up. Okay. I believe that my players followed because they trusted what they saw. And not just what they saw, but I was actually open with them about my transformation, about the things that I struggled with, and the things that I was getting better on. And I think they became better because I became better. To go from 10 wins to 28 wins over the course of consistent growth over the course of 6 years, I think was a direct reflection of what was going on inside of me. And we never underachieve. We always overachieve. Like I said, we didn't have loads and loads of talent, but we worked so hard and we had high character. Here's another excerpt before we close out from page 19 in chapter 3. And it says, years from now, your players may forget the scores, but they'll never forget how your definition of success shaped their lives. Okay, I'm going to read that again before we close out. Years from now, your players may forget the scores, but they'll never forget how your definition of success shaped their lives. Okay, so I hope that this video today was a blessing. Remember, on YouTube specifically, we want to make sure that you like and subscribe and share this with another coach. And hope it was a blessing to you. And I'll see you at the next show. All right, take care.
Hey, Coach. Yes, you. First, thank you for tuning in to tonight's show. Before you go, don't forget, everything you need to lead well and last long is waiting for you at my website, eddiejhamilton.com/shop. Devotionals, digital workbooks, tools to build culture, and real strategies to help you navigate coaching, family, and faith. It's all there. So do me a favor, Coach. Click that subscribe button, hit the notification bell,
and share this with a coach who's ready to lead with purpose. We're in this together. Let's build something that lasts. Hopefully, I'll see you at the next show coming soon. So stay tuned. Have a great day, Coach.